Well, we're still married, so we're doing more episodes. Yep. Welcome to the Real Marriage Podcast.
How many episodes have we done?
Many. Many. I don't.
Because we're still learning, so we get to share that with you.
Oh, yeah. No, every illustration. Hey, we know a couple that screwed up in this way. We're that couple, just so you know. And thank you for tuning in. And if you got a question, maybe you could be an episode, send it into hello@realfaith.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can pull some of those into the conversation. Welcome to my home library and study. And wanted to talk today about getting ready for summer. This will be really practical. Ecclesiastes 3 talks about seasons, and, there's a season for this, there's a season for that. And so we just finished Easter, which, for what we do in ministry, that's like the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And our youngest son just finished his first year of college. Yeah. And so he's back home. So, we love him. It's great to see him. Got to figure out where to park all the cars and put all the things. That's where we're at. And for us, the summer schedule, like most families, like most couples, it's different. Mm-hmm. You got your, especially if you got little kids, like the summer schedule's different. It's just different. Mm-hmm. So what we're having to do now, even though we're half empty nesters, we got one kid who's back and forth to college, is we're having to look at our summer schedule. Like you do Real Women, I do Real Men. That is our midweek ministry. Well, we don't have that for the summer. The schedule is different. And so talk about how some people are really, truly creatures of habit. Mm-hmm. And the creatures of habit, if they don't know that the season has changed, they just keep doing the same thing that they've been always doing. So
this feels very judgy.
Well, it's observational. So talk about being a creature of habit, and you like routine, and unless we talk about it and plan for it, hey, it's summer now, different schedule, different routine. Let's look at the calendar. Unless we get that architected, you don't pivot. You're a creature of habit.
I mean, I feel like I'm better at that, but
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And when the summer comes, for most people, it's just a different routine. So as a couple, how do you prepare for that, anticipate that, get on the same page and organize for that, so that as the summer routine is a different routine, how do you make the most of it rather than the summer kind of being a frustrating time, having it being a planned time?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, talking about your expectations, because that's going to be different than what our expectations are for summer. So talking with your spouse and include your kids, some of their desires about what summer might want to look like this year. For us, in previous years, most of the years of our marriage, we were in a different state that we kind of lived for the summer because it was the only time you could really enjoy being outside and engage with the beautiful surroundings, and there was sunshine because it rained most of the time there. So you would be like super joyful because you're sun powered, and there was just a different.
So I have seasonal affective disorder diagnosed. So like, man, if I don't see the sun, I just go into a physical depression.
Yeah, clouds make you cloudy.
Yeah, clouds make me cloudy. And I used to live on the weather app. Mm-hmm. And if somebody called and they're like, hey, do you want to come speak at this conference? I would check the weather. And it was like, if the sun is shining, I am coming, And so the kids used to joke that I was solar powered, that if I get sun, now we're in Scottsdale. So
yeah. So we actually go inside during the summer in Scottsdale because it's so hot here, or find places to go that are cooler, weather-wise. And so for us, we've had to make a complete pivot from previous life plans when we were in a different area. So depending on the region you live in and what your schedules look like, maybe if you homeschool, you're used to having the kids around. Maybe if you don't homeschool, you're not used to having the kids around. And so there are moms that I've talked to that kind of freak out during the summer. I love having the kids around. And so, and I didn't homeschool, but I loved having them around for summer. It was just fun to include them in all of life stuff. And so for me, that wasn't an issue. If it is an issue for you, I would first of all pray about where your heart is with that. And I understand it can be overwhelming to have them all there all the time. But they are a blessing. So pray about your heart attitude there. But sitting down together as a couple, and then once you've got kind of this plan of what you want summer to look like, whether it's incorporating breaks, whether it's incorporating day trips, whether it's incorporating a week away, whatever that looks like financially and schedule-wise, figure that out, make the plans. I mean, you should probably have started doing this before, because a lot of the VRBOs and places fill up in certain areas. But if you haven't, it's not too late. You can figure it out. And do some research. I love doing the research of where to stay and all that, because I know, I know what we need when we get somewhere. And so, like, I know how many beds we need, and I know what the best arrangement for 5
You'll
kids
read all the reviews.
I read the reviews.
Yeah, are you gonna enjoy the bed, or is this a bed of nails? Like, what are we dealing with? Yeah,
and is it on the lake, or is it 5 miles from the lake? Like, just all the things that you want to consider as you're looking at places to stay to get the best enjoyment out of it. And then places that are newly listed often are discounted, so I love that. I love a discount. But sitting down as a couple and figuring out how to incorporate some of the things you both would like to have. Also incorporate couple time, because it's a great time to get just time for your marriage, to invest in your marriage. And then once you have kind of that overarching plan, invite the kids in and say, hey, see, these are some of the things we're thinking. What sounds fun to you guys? If we're going to this area, what would you like to do? Is there a beach? Is there an amusement park? Is there, hikes? What would you like to do as a family, so that you can build some joyful moments, some good memories for them? Our kids have so many good memories because you were really good at those big ideas of planning. Then I'd get into the details and figure out how to logistically make it happen. So figure out where your gifts are as spouses. What do what can you participate in? What can your spouse participate in to make this happen? But yes, summer is a great opportunity to regroup, and you may end up at a place where you figure out you want to go there every single year because it was so great for your family and it was inexpensive. You know what to expect, the people, the place, all that kind of thing. So this is how we did it. We just kept experimenting. There were some places it was a disaster and it was a bummer, but we learned from it and didn't go back or found a different place.
And I learned, if somebody's like, hey, you can use my cabin or whatever, Dad needs to go check it out in advance and make sure. Like, we had one spot, they're like, it's on the beach, and they sent us the photos. Like, oh, it's really pretty. We get there, and it had these giant decks that were rotted out, and we've got little kids and 3 boys, and I'm like, this is a haunted house. Like, if the boys go out on the deck, it is not stable. Like, we literally got in the car and drove home. And I learned a great dad fail was like, hey, Dad, you better go check it out before you drag the family there. Because we had this Suburban, is a 1999 Suburban. This was years ago. It was Hank the Tank. So the kids named the car. So we had Hank the Tank. My 76 Chevy pickup truck was Chuck the Truck. I had a Durango for a while. They called that the Dad Rango. I think my black Jeep, they called Blackjack. I mean, so yeah, So they all got names. So this was Hank the Tank. We loaded up Hank the Tank with the kids, car top carrier on the top, all the toys, all the diapers, all the things, massive bike rack on the back, all the bikes.
Yeah, the kids were little.
Stuff under the kids' feet. Like, we are jammed in the back of the Suburban. I've got, one of the metal things that separates it. So when you hit the brakes, the luggage doesn't come and, behead your children. Like, this was we got there. I was like, we're not even staying here.
We did for a bit, but it was
terrible. And they had a cat. We're all allergic to cats.
Yes, you got to check those.
We're blowing up like a puffer fish. Nobody can breathe. We're all terrified of the deck. Like, this was a horrible dad fail. So to me, it's like, okay, I got to go check out the spot before we bring the family, make sure all is well.
Yeah, and it was a thoughtful gesture of the people, but they didn't understand the needs of little kids. And so,
Pastor Mark here. Thanks for joining me for the sermon. We've got a Real Romance bundle for you. It includes the book, Real Romance, Sex and the Song of Songs, written with my best friend and wife, Grace. We go through this amazing book of the Bible And we'll get a copy of that to you. We have also got for you 6 talks from a Real Romance conference that we did. This includes the most popular talk I've ever given in the history of the world on forbidden sex acts. And so you want to get that. We've also included in this bundle 10 vintage marriage talks, plus a practical guide. I'm happy to report that I've been faithful to my girl since our first date on March 12th, 1988. We have been doing marriage teaching and training for 3 decades now. So we're going to pull some stuff out of the vault as well. Also got a bonus talk from my best friend, Pastor Josh McPherson, on how to have a fruitful marriage. So that's a total of 17 marriage talks, plus the Real Romance book. You can get it all, realfaith.com/marriage, realfaith.com/marriage. Thank you for partnering with our ministry. Your gift helps us to get more Bible teaching out than ever. So thanks in advance.
We needed to figure that out.
Yeah. So summer 2 for us, our boys were baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was tons of baseball tournaments all summer.
Yes.
And so it's weekends with some travel as well. And so, you know, they say you've only got 18 summers to make memories with your kids.
Wow.
So I'll get
goes
choked up
fast.
if I start thinking about that. So you want to capture every opportunity to make a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks my heart. It devastates me when I have heard parents like, oh my gosh, my kids are driving me crazy. I can't wait for school to start again. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like they're cursing their children and they're loathing their summer. It's like, no. So the best thing to do is get with your spouse and first figure out like, okay, let's look at our calendar. And this is going to take some hours.
Yes.
Get your joint shared calendar, and you should have a joint shared calendar. And it's like, okay, well, here's what I got for work. And, you know, work is immovable. I can work remotely these days. We could hack some trips in here. Like, how do you make it work? In addition, you know, what do you do with holidays? Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, like, you know, what are the plans around the events, around those holidays? And then get your vacations in, maybe get your couple time on the calendar, like are mom and dad going to be able to get away for a bit? And if so, how does that work with the kids?
Because vacation with little kids is not, it's just time to enjoy your kids. And
it's an awesome job.
yeah, it's a lot of work. And so you can't go into that having this expectation of, I'm going to get my spa time, I'm going to get time off this day. And no, it's not. You're still raising your kids during that.
Let's be honest. What are some of the things that happen on family summer vacations that we had a son step in a burn pile? So the neighbor at the house, somebody gave us their house, a great house on the water, pool in the community, like best case scenario. Some Yahoo next door decides to do a burn pile. Our son decides to walk in it.
We went for a family walk and he stepped in and we didn't know.
No,
And so he's like, he had flip-flops on.
yeah, and he melted his flip-flops.
Yeah, and we didn't know until we got back home and we looked at his foot and it was puffing up and oh my goodness, the poor kid was just trying
I was
to
like,
grin and bear it. And so then we ended up
we
with,
have a fire-walking child on vacation.
we had,
Somebody's going to get sunburned.
yes, for sure.
Somebody's going to get the flu, and then they got to isolate, and they can't go do fun. They got to sleep in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, somebody's going to throw up in the car.
Yeah, they're going to.
Somebody's going to throw up in the car.
Uh-huh.
They're just going to. So the key hack to that, Ziploc bag.
Yes.
Big, giant Ziploc bag,
Gallons.
gallon size, and everybody gets a couple. They're going to throw up in the car.
Put it next to them, and then if they throw up, they're all set, and then you could just toss it in the garbage at the.
A couple other
Red
hacks
zone.
while we're at it. So like we would travel internationally with our kids, and I would go speak and we'd take the kids. And so like before a trip, we'd go buy a backpack for each of them, let them pick out like their favorite backpack, and then let them put toys and snacks and games and artwork, like whatever your favorite, like this would be your dream little backpack. Put it by the front door so they could see it. So we're building expectation for the trip, but you can't open it and you can't do anything with it until the plane is in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So like going to London, you know, for a layover one time, the boys it was Game Boys or whatever, and they're doing Mario Kart or whatever they're doing. And like, that took care of half the flight.
Yes, it did.
You know,
It was back in the day.
with our oldest daughter, like if we got like a giant sticker book, she had completion compulsion. She would be doing stickers until every princess was in place in the giant stick. And it's like, we're good for a couple hours.
That's right.
They were usually not allowed to chew gum, but on takeoff and landing, you'd get gum to keep your jaw moving so that you didn't get the ear pressure. When we'd get to the airports, I knew the kids were going to be tired because sometimes the timing of the flights isn't great. And so I had little luggage that they could ride on. So I just wheel them through the airport. And we bought our kids Heelys.
Yeah, I don't think the airports allow them.
Well, shame on them. Shame on them for diminishing children's joy. So we did Heelys, the tennis shoes where the heel becomes a wheel and you can roll. So then rather than, I don't want to walk through the airport, I'm tired, when do we get, instead it's like, hey, when we land, you'll be chewing gum and healing through the airport. So now our kids they're healing through the airport, which was awesome. So it's just trying to figure out like, okay, what are we going to do? But then how do we as parents do advanced planning to make this as kid-friendly and enjoyable and to turn it into a fun memory? And so sometimes too, well, we'd always do this, but even before we'd plan family summer, we'd get the kids together like, okay, kids, do you have any, what do you want to do? Just at least give them a voice. No, they don't get to decide.
That's
we're the parents. They're like, we all want to move to Disneyland for 2 months. It's like, well, we can't afford that. The churros are more expensive than college, so, but certain kids would be like, well, I want to go have a couple days away with dad and do guy stuff. And the girls would be like, well, we want to do girl stuff. And then even when we would go on family vacation, we would put together, I tried not to overbook vacation, but one thing every day, just one. Because if you try to do 7 things a day on vacation with kids, it ain't going to happen. One thing, let them sleep in, don't have tight deadlines, keep it flexible. And like Grace said, like they still eat, it's work.
I still had to make meals.
Yeah, there's laundry. Like there's still things. And I'm sorry, because I wasn't very helpful. I'm the fun dad. I'm like, get your swim trunks on. We're going to, we're going to go cannonball. Like, I'm that dad. I'm the have a good time dad. And you're the dependable mom, which is why they all lived. I would have forgot to feed them, but man, they would have had fun. And so it's even getting from the kids, what do you want? And then we put together the schedule and I would hand write out the schedule every day and I'd put it on the fridge. And I'd be like, all right, tomorrow, when it's bedtime, here's what we're doing tomorrow. And then in the morning, hey, remember guys, so they all knew. And some days we would serve each other. So one day would be like, all right, today the girls decide what we're doing. So we're going to the antique store. That's what the girls want. And other days it's like boy day. And they're like, we're going to the water slide park.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be boy day, girl day, you'd take one, I'd take, like, we're going to do separate things. But then everybody got some things on the schedule that they wanted to do, but then they had to learn how to serve each other. Even if you're not excited about this, you're serving them and then you're going to get to do what you want and they'll be serving you. And so it's all part of the discipleship process.
And we got to enjoy watching them have fun.
The greatest joy is watching the people you love have joy. That's the greatest joy.
Yep.
And so, for summers though, it's like, how do we, what is bedtime? Can it be a little later? I would say yes. Can they sleep in? I would say yes. Do we have mini trips where we go to the lake or we go to the pool or we go to the park? Have a boating day? I would say yes.
Because sometimes when you get there, they have a festival or a parade, and so you get to incorporate those last minute surprises.
Yeah. So with summer now here, our encouragement to you would be
make a plan.
Make a plan. Look at your schedule. Look at your budget. Don't let it just happen. Architect, engineer it. And even if you don't have a lot of money, you can have a great summer if you have a lot of creativity.
We had no money.
We were broke early on.
Creativity extra and just made it happen. The Lord was great. with it because we were trying to honor that priority together, and God was so gracious.
Well, and sometimes it's even house swapping. So like when we were young and poor and getting started, like somebody lives here and somebody lives here and they're friends. It's like, well, how about if we house swap? Because sometimes it's fun just to go to another city, go visit their parks and their beaches and go make memories. And if it's two families, like, well, we'll drive your minivan, you drive our Suburban, let's flip houses. You just try to find creative ways to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always big on saving airline miles, pay the card off every month, but like I like racking up the miles so that when we travel, we're burning miles.
Yep.
I love that hack. And we always had a big vehicle that we could haul everyone and everything in so that we could do driving day trips and vacations. So the Suburban was always the way to go. So summer is here. We love you. We want you to make good memories, and we want you to make sure that in that planning, there is time for date nights.
Yes.
Some time away, some mom and dad time, because the marriage is the first priority.
Yep.
Anything you want to add?
No, have fun.
Have fun. Happy summer.